Ms.
Okay.
Omari.
Okay, y'all, so we're going to go ahead and get started. All of our partners, are you ready?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are you going to tell?
Okay.
Oh.
Hold on one moment. Let me get this password. Okay.
Okay, I can hear now.
Okay, excellent, excellent. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring up our regional organizer, Katora Butler-Reed, who will be facilitating today's conference, and she will be starting us out. And actually, let me change it to speaker view. All right, we're ready to roll.
All right, can you hear me? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Katora Butler-Reed, the regional organizer for the Black Voters Matter Fund, and we are hosting this virtual press conference with our local and grassroots partners to have a season of fairness and accountability. Over the past several months, we've joined our partners in advocating for fair and just maps in the redistricting process. Many of us participated in the roadshow map hearings, and majority of everyone on this call has even testified, been to the state capitol to testify, and even submitted maps and letters with other partners like the ACLU and the Legal Defense Fund. But today, like many other days in that fight, we want to ensure that we're holding our elected officials accountable and urging our governor to veto the congressional, House, Senate, legislative, and Bessie school board maps. Also, because these maps do not give Black voters fair or equal representation when we know that Black people make up nearly 1/3 of the population in Louisiana. The population of Black people has increased exponentially in the past 10 years, so our maps should accommodate those numbers for the next 10 years as well. In addition to urging him to veto the maps, we're also in conversation with holding our members of the Legislative Black Caucus accountable. The Louisiana legislator had an opportunity to protect Black people's voting power during the extraordinary special session on redistricting last month, but it failed to do so. Conservatives in the legislature, joined by a handful of Black lawmakers, voted for unfair and racist maps that steal power from our communities. And they went further by rejecting other proposals to create fairer maps. So today, we're joined with our partners, and we're making sure that we are giving us a platform to have a voice, to hold people accountable, and also demand fair and equitable representation. So without getting too deep into it, I want to make sure that I yield the floor to some of our partners. Do we have Dr. Chris Williams on the call? So first, we have Dr. Chris Williams with the United Ballot Pack.
Katora, we are really excited about the opportunity to be here today. And so I just want to speak today about our visit to Baton Rouge to ask the legislature to create fair maps. It just didn't start when we went to Baton Rouge. We had a public hearing that was held in Lafayette, Louisiana, at Progressive Baptist Church, where we heard from stakeholders from throughout the community. Over 100 people on a weeknight attended that session. We had speakers, we had engagement, and basically the citizens testified and told us that they wanted fair maps. And we wanted to be a state that would be progressive and how it is that our leaders would move in the upcoming legislative session at that time. The following evening, we were at the University of Louisiana for the public hearing that was held by the legislature and testified there also, and engaged young people as a part of our effort to educate and also impress upon the body that was here to create fair maps for the state of Louisiana. And then leading up to the session, we had numerous meetings and conversations on Zoom and at churches. And then we had a caravan to Baton Rouge. We went to the historic McKinley High School. And then we also engage our legislators who's there to represent us. And as a citizen who doesn't get to go to Baton Rouge every day, but citizens who caravanned from the Southwest Louisiana region, the Acadiana region, we engage what I would describe as a silence that was just disheartening. We were heard, but we weren't listened to. We testified, but I had the feeling that the decisions had already been made that Black and brown people in the state of Louisiana would not have any increase in representation in our elected bodies, the Louisiana legislature, and the other bodies that was being debated. And so BVM, as a BVM partner, we're going to continue, and I don't want to get too far into it, but we're going to continue to push and encourage the Governor John Bell Edwards, who we also worked with during his campaign, who was a frequent visitor to Southwest Louisiana in Black churches and in Black organizations and in Black and brown communities, asking and telling us that his success to do a second term was directly related to the percentage of Black folks who voted in the state of Louisiana. And we did that, if I could say that. We did that. We showed out. And so last point, there was a group of young people at the hearing, and I think the person's gonna speak, so I'm not gonna say too much about it, but they were dynamite. They brought it. They were educated, they were bright, they spoke the truth, and that's the future of our state. And I was moved by them because we have to do it. I know we will be doing more of that in our BPM efforts. But I was moved by that because they went toe to toe with men in that committee who challenged them on creating fair maps. Grown adult white men challenged these young brothers and sisters, and they did not step back. Yes. They said what they said, that they wanted fair maps. They did it articulately and professionally, and they unequivocally stated that they wanted fair maps. They understood the mapping concept, they understood the mathematics. And I will contend this, that in closing, I would contend that everybody knows the math in this. We're 1/3. It's easy math. Regardless of what math you do, it's easy math. And so at the end of the day, we're here as a partner with BVM to let the governor know that we're counting on him. We showed up for him. It's time for him to show up for us. And I'm so honored to be on the call with the BVM partners and with the media who was able to make it here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chris. And I think he already did such an amazing introduction. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up Ms. Brika Peoples with the People's Promise Youth Vision, because like he said, those kids were dynamite.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brika.
Them kids are something awesome. But throughout history in Louisiana, Louisiana has yet to produce a fair map. The 2020 census was not accurate. In fact, we have more Asian, Black, and Hispanic in our community than we had 20 years ago. The COVID scared a lot of Louisiana people. The citizens was afraid to open their doors due to COVID. So we understand why the census was low. But what I don't understand is why the 6 state officials supported this unfair map. And they will be held accountable because they happen to suppress the Black people. The Black community deserve another congressional seat. But why do certain Black officials feel as if we don't deserve it? This is why we're doing a point of mouth campaign to hold them accountable. And our goal is to hold them accountable. And I also demand John Bell Edwards to veto these racist maps, because at the end of the day, he told us that we was not gonna go back if we fought to get him in office. And we fought like hell to get John Bell in office. We knocked on doors, we rocked babies, we even told them stuff that John Bell promised us that he was gonna do for us. And we want him to veto these maps. But my question is why we don't deserve another congressional seat. And why did they erase District 23? Because District 23, most of y'all know, most of these state reps don't answer their phone when our people need help. Most of y'all know, State Rep Cox, he's always available. So I don't understand why they erased in District 23. They give it to C-Bob that he had confrontations with. So it's crazy to me. But the kids are working, and we're going to work. We're going to make sure our people are registered to vote. We're going to make sure our people are going to the polls. Even we're going to have to ride with Amari Bricker Peeps to the polls. And that's what we're planning too. So we're going to show them by numbers that we're going to hold them accountable. And we're about to ring their phones off because we started yesterday. And we still going today. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Brika. I think I only mentioned the People's Promise Youth Division, but she's also with People's Promise as well. So now I want to go ahead and bring up Mr. Mike McClanahan with the NAACP Louisiana State.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You know, I'm excited to see that there are some of us that know how to get together, mobilize, organize, agitate, litigate, do that all the time consistently. And, you know, when I see you all, I know there are no hidden agendas. We're all on the same accord, one accord, fighting for the same mission. Sometimes nowadays, people forget that the mission is greater than the position. They want to hold these seats. They want to die in these seats. They want them to hold these seats for their mom and dad or their kids, all that. But this seat doesn't make a difference. What matters is that we should strive all the time to make sure that our people are free. Not only free physically, but free mentally, free economically, free to do anything that every other American citizen here in this country can do. We fall short because Mr. Bobo knows how to pick us off one by one and two by twos by selling us fake gold. Everything that glitters ain't gold. And sometimes what may be good for you ain't good for you. So I appreciate you all, Black Voters Matter, you know, United Ballot Pack, and People's Promise for organizing not only this press conference, but for organizing the work. See, what people can't see here on this Zoom is the work that's going on behind the doors, behind closed doors, behind the Zoom. Calls are being made, emails are being sent. We're in people's face. If they're at the store, we see them, we're in their face, tell them to do the right thing. And so I appreciate you all that. You know, a lot of times people will come up and pat you on the back and say, good job. I say, there's room for you too. Get in here. All hands should be on deck right now. All hands on deck. We don't have another opportunity to get this right for our future. We must get it right now. Every morning you wake up and hear about a war going on somewhere in the world. People tend to forget we've been at war for over 400 years, fighting for our mere survival, fighting just to survive in this country. And so we have to make sure that we are all hands on deck. Everybody's doing their part. So that means we have to engage our churches, the faith-based community. We have to engage our fraternities and sororities. We have to engage those people that are in line at Walmart. We have to engage those people that are in line with the Red Cross, getting supplies, whatever the case may be. We have to engage those people because, you know, all lives matter, but really Black lives matter. And we have to hold that seriously because sometimes we take it for granted that we're going to be here, that we're going to be here tomorrow, that we have tomorrow to get it right, but we don't. Time is of the essence. And we have to ring that bell. We have to ring a bell. It's serious. And no time out for playing, no time out for, you know, let's play cards and pity pat, whatever they play. It's time out for that playing stuff. You know, we have these elected officials, you know, when they get to whatever position they get in, they drink from this cup of poison. They forget that we elected them. But I tell people all the time, this shirt is real. We voted you in, we'll vote you out. We voted you in, we'll vote you out. That's why the most important tool that we have is in the ballot. As long as we continue to vote, they're going to take it serious. If not, no justice.
Yes. Reach out to Loga.
No justice, no peace. All right. And I just want to say that he is serious about us holding people accountable because the other day we were just outside the governor's mansion urging him to veto those maps. So he is not playing. So now I want to go ahead and bring up Miss Lakita Smith with Abella La Femme Society.
Well, I did try to stay away from gas as much as I could. So I tried to stay on the,
Be all proud. You need to be muted. You're not muted.
I muted them.
Okay, good. How y'all doing today? I am Lakita Smith, the Executive Director and founder of Abella La Femme Society. And we've been boots and heels on the ground since our establishment. I go back 20 years with advocacy. The organization is 3 years old, and we've been a partner of Black Voters Matter for a few years now, officially a few months ago. And I will definitely say since the redistricting tour and this whole process has been brought to the state of Louisiana, we have been on the grounds and doing the tours and listening to the testimonies and everything that is happening. So this holding them accountable is very near and dear to my heart. And this is a call of action that my organization is asking you all and the people of the community who can be watching this Zoom, because we have to stop playing. You know, as many of you say, we worked hard to get the governor into office. I mean, he came down to New Orleans, had Manny Fresh as his DJ, Black churches kissing Black babies, eating watermelon. So what we need for you to do is to act like you understand that we matter. And we're living here, we're paying taxes, we are not second-class citizens, and that we deserve fairness. It shouldn't even be a fight with this. This shouldn't even have to be. But more importantly, our people need to stand up as well. Because looking at those numbers, looking at how we do local elections, there needs to be some accountability all around the board, because we have to be our voices. And if we're not standing up at 100%, these people are going to continue to do what they're doing. And so that is why my organization is heavily involved. We have already started making calls. We're going to continue to do it throughout this week. We showing up in Selma. We showing up in the spaces where we need to be, because one thing about it, we not just talking, we walking the walk, and you could check our mouths, because this right here is a big no-no. And you know, just to think about, I'm thinking, can we even get we definitely need a press conference with those 6. I want to know what they were thinking. What were they drinking or eating when they were voting? Can we get them on? Can we plug them, like, you know, hold them accountable? Because there is no mistaking in the way you voting. You voting because under deals are going on under the table, and we tired of the politics in Louisiana. We're tired of it. And, you know, too many people, they talk, they throw rocks and hide their hand, but we standing strong and firm on what we saying. You know, this has to stop. Like, we got you into the offices. We support your efforts. So don't overlook your constituents. Like, we have to make a difference. And these fair maps is all that we ask. And there were so many organizations that put in time and effort and resources and finances to make sure that these fair and equitable maps are presented, testified, and it was just thrown to the side and wasn't even considered. And that's something that we cannot tolerate. So by any means necessary, you best to believe ABLS is pulling up on you. So you have us in your corner. And I say what I said.
She said what she said, not echo. So next, thank you so much, Lakita. Next, I'm honored to bring up Rev Wilfred Johnson with a new chapter push.
Hello there. Hello. Hi. Okay. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Please excuse me right now. My wife and I are having lunch, but I'm definitely tuning in, and I have a lot to say simply because I'm so disappointed in how this mapping process took place, especially with these 6 Blacks who voted for this foolishness. I'm really, I'm caught up on that. Let me just say this. I am a pastor, okay? I'm also a community activist. So I'm pushing the pastor to the side just for a little while, if y'all don't mind. And I'm going to talk like a community activist. Those legislators, those who we voted and put in office to represent us, for them to act any way outside of what we desire and the things that we need, we definitely have to hold them accountable. How do we do that? We get out in the street and we let the people know what you did. Let me say this. District 96, you will be held accountable. We're holding you accountable. We want you to know that you did not act. You did not act on the desires of the people. You did not. And we want to let you know. And we also telling the government, like everyone else has said, we've worked harshly to get him elected and reelected. And we expect him to do what we need him to do. And that's to veto this map. We just want you to know, Mr. Brian, we watching you, brother. We're watching you. We're going to make sure that if you don't act in the way that we need you to act, well, then we got to get you out of the state. Simple as that. So again, BBM and everybody else, all the other partners, I'll stand, New Chapter Push stand with you guys, and we're going to make sure that this governor knows exactly what we are asking him to do, and not only that, not asking, but demanding that he would veto this map. That's all I have to say. God bless.
God bless. Thank you, Reverend Johnson. And I just want to say that is a testament to how anytime, anywhere, any place, we are all ready to hold whoever we need to hold accountable for Black voters everywhere. So now I want to go ahead and bring up Ms. Sharon Patterson with Lead Louisiana. Ms. Sharon, are you there? Let me see if she's on mute.
She didn't unmute you.
I'm sorry. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Ms. Sharon. Yes.
Hi, how are you doing today? Glad to be here. I'm with Lead Louisiana from St. Landry Parish. And so we want you to know that the rural areas are supporting too. So I just wanted to express my experience of going with the caravan to the Capitol, riding with the behind the bus. It was really a great experience. And just as a personal note, I had 3 generations there, and I know that Omari had 3 generations. We had our mothers and we had our kids, and so that was
Southern student.
my daughter is a Southern student, right? So I think that that's also an area that we can encourage people to bring their families. So I know that my mom from out of state, just like Omari's, and they got to see us in action and see what we can do as just regular people. So thank you for having me on. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ms. Sharon. I think that it's amazing that we were able to have multiple generations there, because these maps affected our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, and they're going to affect our children for the next 10 years. So thank you so much for sharing that. I want to go ahead and yield the floor to Ms. Jackie Jones with the Jeremiah Group.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jacqueline Jones with the Jeremiah Group, and I represent Jefferson Parish. I was just elated to have been able to not only bring adults, but students as well from Jefferson Parish to urge not only the governor to veto maps that are not going to be in our interest, African Americans, that is, but to encourage our legislators be a part of doing right by their constituents. The interesting story is those 25 students who came up on December 9th, December 8th, whatever day we were there, but both days, were very, very disturbed just to see and hear how our legislators who re-elected did not appear to be representing us in the best way. And so to get those students engaged and want to make a difference was very important. And as we speak right now, we're in the middle of voter registration. And I think having those 25 students there to tell their story has been very, very encouraging and has put a fire under the young people, because as we all know, those maps, if the governor doesn't veto those maps, young people as well will be impacted by a poor decision. So I'm happy to be a part of Black Voter Matters campaign to make sure that our governor will do the right thing by us. And the work is there, and we're here to do that work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Jackie. Thank you all of our amazing, amazing, amazing partners. You all really do the work 365. I'm so glad to be working with you all in this. Thank you so much for coming out to those our redistricting takeover, joining us and calling and phone banking, emailing, and just holding everyone accountable. Because this is a season of accountability, and we're so happy to be pushing out this campaign for vetoing the maps and also pointing them out. So thank you all for joining us. And I just want to go ahead in closing and introducing my partner in crime, Ms. Omari Hossein, our state organizing manager for the Black Voters Matter, Louisiana part of Black Voters Matter. Thank you so much, Omari. Go ahead.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And just a special thank you to our partners who continue to lead this work around the state. They've really said it all, but I do want to bring up the fact that accountability is not easy. And so that's why I really commend the partners that showed up today. The fear of retaliation is a real thing to consider. And so as we lead the work around the state, we find that many of the systemic issues that we experience in our communities, from rampant poverty, inequity in our school systems, on to working conditions and health disparity, can be solved by the earnest and honest efforts and right decisions of those we elect to serve us. As of today, Tuesday, March 8th, the racist legacy of redistricting is alive and well in the state of Louisiana. I remember a time, as it's been mentioned several times before, when Black communities of our state mobilized to elect our governor. And we are asking that our governor use his influence and his power to veto the maps. The reason why it is so critical that we launch this campaign today is because decisions made during the extraordinary session are not decisions that can be reversed by a yearly legislative session. These decisions will live with us for the next 10 years. 10 more years of inequity, 10 more years of disparity, 10 more years of losing our talented youth to other states. So today, we increase the pressure as we stand alongside other organizations that are not here today to really ask, veto the maps. And we launch an awareness and accountability campaign that will ask the simple question, why? Why did you vote with the conservative arm of the legislature to prevent an opportunity for fair maps? We are asking the public to visit www.tinyurl.com/veto that map to join in on the calls to the governor and the 6 legislators. Our communities have been suffering for too long for us to shirk our responsibilities during times of great opportunity. So Representative Bryant, Representative Hughes, Representative Fisher, Representative Bass, Representative C. Travis Johnson, and Senator Regina Barrow. Why? Lastly, we want to remind our communities that there is an election coming up on March 26th. Early voting begins March 12th. Make sure you check out the govote.com to familiarize yourself with the elections in your area. If you have the ability, provide rides to the polls to family members, church members, neighbors, friends. And if you don't have an election, make it one of your priorities to register everybody you know to vote, even if they're already registered. I stand with the People's Promise and Brink of Peoples. We're re-registering you to make sure that you are in the system. We understand that one of the easiest ways to hold our elected officials accountable is to vote. But also remember that even when we've done our duty and voted and they are in office, that we have the power and the people to hold decision makers accountable 365 days a year. Thank you again for joining us, and please feel free to ask any questions of any of our partners today.
So Amari, someone I think already had a question. I can kind of facilitate the questions. So our first question is with Miss Claire. Let me go back to the chat. Claire Taylor. Would you like to read your question, or I can read it for you? Or is she still on? I don't know. She's
You can read it for me.
okay. Okay. So she's with the Acadiana Advocate in Lafayette. Any ideas why the 6 Black legislators voted the way they did? Do the maps approved help them? And would the alternative maps have harmed them or their districts? So I'm gonna, if Dr. Chris, you back on, I'm gonna go ahead and pass that to Dr. Chris.
Yes, so we've been in touch with Representative Bryant about his vote for the maps that we opposed and that did not represent our community. We've also started the process of reaching out to, for instance, Senator Barrow, who we know has a statewide footprint. And then we're, of course, under the leadership of Katora and Sister Omari, we've also, I know the other partners have reached out in other areas of the state. So let me say this. It's never easy to address brothers and sisters who vote in a way that we deem is not advantageous to our cause. From what has been stated from all of the partners today, it is obvious that the community is on one accord. Yes. And it is hard for us to fathom what would be in someone's mind who represents majority minority district to vote against increasing the percentage of representation that is mathematically called for in the state of Louisiana. And so there's a saying that elections has consequences. And in these cases, in the cases of these 6 individuals, I think it's local. It's incumbent upon all of the partners and our state leadership to address Mr. Bryant and to get a clear answer from him, and also to get an answer from him in terms of what will be his position on an impending veto by the governor. Because we want to know, will he stand with the people that he represents and elected him, or will he double down? And we assume that our other partners in the other areas of the state will do the same. And then we'll also have our statewide initiatives that was mentioned earlier. Lastly, the point that I wanted to make about not understanding, sometimes as a people, we find it difficult to address our very own in terms of our agendas. The partners that are on this call today are doing this as community activists and do it because we believe that we're fighting for the others, for the people who are least represented in government. And so, although some may find it difficult to address the people that voted with the majority, I've found that the people that I've talked to in the community want to know why. Because with the information that we have now and our ability to communicate, whether it's the Monday night calls with Brother McCallahan, with a large number of people every single Monday, or if it's with our statewide BVM calls, or our fraternity calls with Alpha Phi Alpha, or with New Chapter Push, the information is there. And so if you're bold enough to vote against what the majority of Black folks wanted in the state of Louisiana, you have to be bold enough to speak to those same groups and explain to us what was the mindset behind voting that. Lastly, there is a Representative Johnson made a comment that I found very disturbing. And one of the partners alluded to it earlier when he was asked why it is that he voted for these maps. And his answer was that he felt that the leadership in the area where he was elected was very powerful, and he could raise more money by voting with the majority. So if he was bold enough to say it, we should have the same amount of boldness to call it out and let him know that that's not what we're asking for, brother. What we're asking for is fairness and fair maps and equity and equality. And so we have to have these tough discussions. And by the very mere fact that BVM have called this press conference today is a testament to the transparency that we have to be unapologetically Black in our endeavor to have fair and equal maps in the state of Louisiana.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Chris Williams. And also I want to go ahead and bring up Pastor Johnson. I think he wanted to add something to that.
Yes, I do. I just want to say that myself, along with a few of my constituents, we've made several attempts to contact Mr. Bryant in trying to question him concerning his voting on the map. We have not been successful in contacting him, and it's never been this way before. Anytime we wanted to speak with Mr. Bryant, he was always willing to talk. I don't know if he realized that he's made such a mistake to the point where, he's pretty much don't know how to get himself out of the jam. But, let me just be honest with you guys. I'm really upset because District 96 was well represented, okay, before Mr. Bryant got in, and we thought he was the right man to uphold this seat. And for him to do what he did is so disappointing, not only to me, but to everyone we speak to, or everyone we've spoken to since this happened. So again, I want to piggyback on what Dr. Chris said, that what would be his response if the governor do veto this map? Or, you know what I'm saying? What would be his response either way? So again, we're going to continue to try to contact Mr. Bryant, and hopefully he'll speak with us. As of now, he's not answering our calls or returning them. So, it's saddening. It really is. It's sad. So again, thank you again, BVM, for bringing us together here at this conference, and we thank God for it. God bless.
Thank you, Pastor Johnson, for that. Do we have any more questions?
Put the sound on and stuff.
Miss Sharon, did you have a question? I think because I think I muted you on accident.
Is it off now?
No, she said she didn't have a question.
No, I know question.
Okay. Do we have any more questions from the crowd, the advocate, anyone else who's on the call? All right, going once, going twice. And I guess we're going to get off the Zoom in a few minutes. Thank you all again for joining us in our virtual press conference. And we have a lot of actions heading up. We got our scripts ready, our phone banking ready, our emailing ready. If we got to go back to the Capitol, I guess we better get ready to do that too. So thank you all for joining us. And that's all we have for today.
y'all.
Peace. Peace.
Peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Like Miss Lakita.